The program today is basically for us to launch the MAPS assessment. MAPS stands for Methodology for Assessing Procurement Systems in a Country. Ghana's procurement regime, we started in 2003. That was when the Act came into being. We started using the Act in 2004. And in 2016, we had amendment to the Procurement Act, that's Act 917, then 914, which incorporates some reforms, particularly with respect to electronic procurement, what we call GANEPS, Ghana Electronic Procurement System. We have framework agreements, and then we have sustainable poor procurement, which have all found expression in the amendment to the Procurement Act, that's at 914. Now, the essence of MAPS is to ensure that we have independent validators to assess some key pillars as far as our procurement regime is concerned. First one would be the legal framework, whether we have the necessary laws, we have the proper regulations, the guidelines, to see how this compares with international best practice. Then they'll be looking at what the institutional framework, that is organizations. So for example, if within the institutions you have anti-tender committee, are they functioning? Are they procurement, units within the institutions in line with the law? Are those people properly staffed with qualified staff, to do this procurement? And again, they'll look at the marketplace. How does the market in Ghana respond to procurement that are undertaken by public institutions? Because market readiness is an important aspect of any capitalist state, just as of ours. And then again, the last one is to look at areas where we have reform. So once these assessments are conducted, the report is shared with the MAP secretariats, that's with OECD. They will then look at it and validate it. Under our Act, Section 3 of the Procurement Act provides that the PPA itself conducts annual assessments. And this annual assessment, the results are shared with the Ministry of Finance and Parliament, and that's showing how our procurement system is working. But the MAPs will be totally different. PPA will not have any role to play there. We have external assessors who will come in, not necessarily to PPA's office, but to all public institutions to conduct this. So I want to use this opportunity that once the MAPS assessment starts, public institutions should cooperate with the assessors. Because the bottom line is that it's going to help us improve our procurement system. Ghana, we are not doing that bad, because Ghana, we started our procurement regime before other African countries. And we've actually taken the lead in a number of activities, including the electronic procurement that I said, sustainable poor procurement, which is a very topical issue now, because we need to be concerned about the effect of our spending on future generation. And there are specific provisions in our law, talking about how we should manage issues relating to sustainability. So I think that we are doing well, but we still need to, have somebody else, a third eye, look at how the procurement system is working, so that at least it can inform and shape policy in future for us. Then this is actually being sponsored by the World Bank. So far, we've been told that it's just about 250,000 United States dollars from the World Bank for this particular exercise. So they will appoint lead assessors, and we have other assessors who are qualified in the area of procurement, who will take charge of this particular assessment, visit all the public institutions, and then make the report available. In fact, stakeholders will all be part of it. Civil society organizations, will all be part of this particular exercise. So it's not something that somebody will sit in an office and then conduct. Stakeholders are a key part of this particular activity. We expect it to take less than 6 months, but the timing. So we're hoping that once the launch is done, we have a steering committee that will also be officially sworn into place to ensure that the mandate of this particular exercise is actually brought to fruition. So we expect that all things being equal, if you start in January, we are not too sure how easily it will be, but that's our expectation, that we should be able to finish within 6 months maximum. We're started looking at 4 months, but we are in turbulence times now, so we're hoping that we should be able to finish it on record time. The essence of MAPS is not just to check corruption per se, it's to carry out a holistic assessment of the procurement system. Okay, of course, if corruption becomes an issue, that will be uncovered. Okay, but that is not the focus of MAPS. It's to assess all the pillars that I discussed earlier: the legal framework, the regulatory framework, the market readiness. Okay, institutional structures, are all this in place? Okay, so there are a number of indicators that we'll be looking at, and just to emphasize again, they are not coming in to check whether people are corrupt or not. That is not the focus. Okay, of course, if somebody is corrupt, that becomes what a criminal matter, and the law will take its course.
We at the World Bank consider procurement as a strategic function of the government, and it plays a significant role in the economy of any country. And we have been supporting the government of Ghana in reforming and modernizing the public procurement system, because we acknowledge that the public procurement systems provides the opportunities for the private sector companies to do business, and in turn these companies, they provide opportunities for job creation. Also, an accountable public procurement system contributes to the efficient use of the scarce public money to achieve best value for money. And that is why we are supporting the assessment of the government procurement system using the MAPS methodology, because we think it is a great opportunity for the government to look back, take stock of the improvements that have been accomplished over the past few years, and then to identify any possible gaps or weaknesses that need to be bridged in the coming period, and the improvements that need to be introduced in the system to allow it to be used as a tool for implementing the government priority developments, objectives, and vision for the future. The outcome of a MAPS assessment, one of the outcomes is an action plan for implementing the recommendations from the assessment. And the action plan will specify which areas require further enhancements in the system. And normally in the World Bank, we would use such an action plan to identify areas or priorities that we can finance as part of our support to the government. So yes, definitely as part of our ongoing relationship and partnership with the government, the action plan that will result from the MAPS assessment will provide us with information on priorities that we can finance and support in the near future.